Top 5 teacher news stories of 2025. A jury in Virginia on Thursday awarded $10 million to former teacher who was shot by a 6-year-old and later accused an ex-administrator in a lawsuit of ignoring repeated warnings that the child had a gun. So anyways, I watched some of the trial and, a lot of teachers feel that they're ignored. Now, I think 99% of the time, you should follow the rules of your workplace. But I think most of you would agree, let me know. I think in this instant, I don't think I would have followed the rules because she was worried about not following the proper protocol and getting fired, but she almost lost her life. And though she did survive, it came really close to her heart. And from what I understand from watching some of the trial, it's still in her. Like it's in a spot where you can't get it out. It's dangerous to get it out. And she doesn't have feeling. I think it's in her left hand. In one of her hands, she doesn't have feeling and can't use it. And she got out of teaching. She went to cosmetology school and she can't completely use one of her arms. That's going to affect her for the rest of her life. So here, she followed the proper protocol. She was being ignored, but she not only almost died, but it's affecting the rest of her life and her ability to get another job without, disability. She's very limited in what she could do. When she does somebody's hair, does something with cosmetology, it takes her a lot longer. And this is sad. And I think in this instant, teachers, I think this is when you have to say, okay, my life and other students' lives, because another child also could have been shot and lost their life, is more important. Like, I'll take the consequences. I'll get fired for not following the protocol, but I'm going to take the gun and go to the dumpster and throw it in the trash or do something like that instead of waiting for administration because you don't want to get fired, but now the rest of your life you have permanent damage to yourself. Teachers fired for Charlie Kirk's social media posts. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one just because I did do a full video. It's on my live streams about it. And I'm going to broaden that, just not about Charlie Kirk, but anything you post on social media, whether you are a teacher or anyone, can cause you to get fired by an employer. So be careful what you post. Okay, and I did a full video about this one as well. Staff member in a Massachusetts school dies after allegedly being kicked by a student. This was at one of those alternative schools. And so a lot of times people will say, why is that student still in school? Send them to an alternative school. Well, she was sent to the alternative school and things can still happen there. In an altercation, I don't think, though we'll never know, that she meant to kill the teacher, but she kicked the teacher so hard that the teacher died. The ICE officials approached him. He identified himself, then sped off, abandoned his vehicle, and hid in a bushy area 200 meters away, where ICE officers located him with the help from Iowa State Police. At the time of the arrest, a loaded handgun, hunting knife, and $3,000 cash were found in his vehicle. So he had possession of illegal firearms, and he works as a superintendent of the school. Robert's rap sheet and criminal history. So here's some of his criminal history in the bullet point. Charges for criminal possession of narcotics with intent to sell. Criminal possession of narcotics. This is 1996. 1998, third-degree unauthorized use of a vehicle in Queens, New York. 2012, a conviction for reckless driving in Maryland. February 2020, charges for second-degree criminal possession of a weapon. 2022, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania convicted him of unlawful possession of a loaded firearm. This didn't come up in the background check, or maybe it did and you ignored it, for becoming superintendent of the school districts. 2025, arrested with a Glock 9mm pistol and a fixed blade hunting knife in possession, and $3,000 in cash, what we just read about. And 2025, criminally charged with being an illegal alien possession of firearms. Wow, you guys. Okay, hero teacher fends off grizzly bear, attacks students on Canada Wall, injuring 11. This is one of those where teachers do not get enough credit and do not get paid enough, because this teacher put her own life at risk. So this was like an extracurricular activity, like a hike that some students went on with this teacher. A group of Canadian school children in British Columbia this week before it became deadly. 2 people were critically injured, 2 were seriously injured, and 7 others were treated at the scene. At a news conference, Minister of Environment and Parks in Canada said that 3 children and 1 adult were seriously injured and remain hospitalized. So this teacher put herself in between herself and the students to try to save some of the students from getting attacked from this grizzly bear. This is where, if you want to, a lot of people criticize teachers. And when you're going to go criticize your child's teacher, just remember that this teacher very well may save your child from a grizzly bear or from a bullet. You know, there's a lot of school shootings. So anyways, those are the top news stories from 2025. Okay, well, thank you, Cindy and Mike, for coming to this live. And thanks to those who will watch later. Bye, everyone. See you next time.